We are ready to go. This is the Hamster Never Stops. I'm Marla.
I'm John.
This is our second episode.
Number 2.
Oh my gosh, this is very, very exciting. First of all, for all of you at home, some of you could probably see us. Some of you are probably just listening to us on your favorite streaming, wherever you hear your favorite podcasts or whatever that is.
Spotify, iHeart, Apple.
All the good stuff.
Amazon.
Or you might be watching us on YouTube.
There's probably a half a dozen at least platforms that we're streaming on.
Yeah, which is
just
so
audio
exciting.
only.
Yeah, and thank you so much for everybody out there that is listening and that is following. We've gotten your comments and your emails. It's been so nice. Thank you so much. So for the people that can't see us, I'm having a weird hair day today.
It looks good. It's all nice and curly.
It's curly. It's very curly today, so it's a little weird.
I think that was your intent though, because you put it in like a little bun yesterday.
Yeah, I tied it up in a bun. We showered late last night, and I tied it up in a bun while it was wet, and then. Yeah, I took it out, and now it's
good. I like it curly.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, whatever. So weird hair day. I didn't want anyone to feel left out if they couldn't see the weird hair day. So now you know that we're talking about it. It was 4th of July weekend.
First, we got to do one more thing.
What?
If you like what we're doing, please follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, Amazon,
iHeart
YouTube, iHeartRadio. Just follow us. Or
Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook. You can find us there. We're also on X. At the Hamster NS.
But we're at the Hamster Never Stops.
Yep.
All one word on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iHeartRadio,
all that good
Spotify, all the good stuff. The Hamster Never Stops. Yes, so that was very good.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe, follow.
Now let's get into the 4th of July.
So our first episode was on the 4th of July. And
no, it was the day before.
It was?
We did.
You're right.
Because Mondays and Thursdays.
That's right. My brain, I'm telling you, it always just goes. So
but
the day after, you know what? You know why I thought that? Because I actually did a radio show on the 4th of July.
Correct.
And I was like, oh, that was this. But it wasn't this. It was my other show.
Yep. And this Friday on the Denny Artachi Show, you're doing a solo host, right?
I think so. Yes, I might be actually hosting it by myself, the Denny Artachi Show on WSTU1450.com. It's AM. Yeah, but you could listen for the people that aren't in this area.
WTSU.
No. It is WSTU1450.com.
Okay.
WSTU1450.com. It is the 1450 AM station here on the Treasure Coast. Okay. And every Friday at 5, I do a live talk show with Denny Artachi. It's called the Denny Artachi Show. And it's really fun. But he, I believe, is going away this weekend because it's his birthday.
It's his birthday. Yep. Happy birthday, Denny.
Happy birthday, Denny. So
also, I
this
hear you're
Friday,
going to have a very interesting guest possibly.
I don't know. I have not spoken about it or asked or anything.
Should I throw the bus out?
No.
Run over the bus?
No.
Okay, I won't run over the bus.
No, do not throw anything out right now. But we can talk about it on Thursday because today's Monday.
If it's the person I'm thinking of and they talk about the topic that she says she wants to talk about on the radio show, it'll be a very interesting radio show in my opinion.
It would be a really good one if I could get this guest.
I think it would be very interesting.
It'll be really good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was the 4th of July this weekend.
Weather sucked.
The weather kind of sucked.
Except for yesterday. Yesterday was pretty nice.
Well, all right. Let's hop right into that. Yeah, let's talk about that. So yesterday was the very first day that it was actually nice out.
Yeah, for the first half.
For the first half of the day. So we decided, let's all go out on the boat, right? So we go to the boat, we go to the sandbar, and it was beautiful. But before we even get into what happened later on in the day, can I just say, we get in the water, we're walking around on the sandbar, and there's, so many people and so many boats, and everyone's having a great time. And then I look up and I see this dog, right? Because people bring their pets. There's dogs running everywhere. It's adorable. They're frolicking in the water. It's great. It's like a dog park, but in the beach, right? Yep. So I see this dog. Again, we're in the sandbar. We're in the middle of the water. It's not like you could walk up to land or go to someone's house. Like, it's the sandbar, meaning so it's like, it's all sand. Water will eventually cover it when the tides go in and out.
We were there around low tide. So
we're there around low tide.
Nice and big, and it was actually dry.
It's very lovely.
At high tide, it's knee-deep water.
I look up, and there is a dog doing his business. Just pooping.
Where's he supposed to go?
He's just pooping. And there is not one owner next to this dog. So this dog is just pooping on the sandbar. Uh-huh. Nobody's cleaning it up. So do you know what that means, everybody? Do you know what that means? Anybody? Anybody care to guess what that means? That we are all walking and swimming in this dog's poop and everybody else's poop. That all the dogs poops because nobody's picking it up because they're like, oh, the water will wash it away. The water washes it away to us. We're walking in the poop.
But I think
You think what?
I think you got to realize that there are cities out there that I'm sure everybody out there is aware of this, that sometimes they have issues with their wastewater treatment plant and they'll dump millions of gallons of raw sewage into the waterways.
Do you know what I'm just realizing?
I'm going to throw you under the bus, Tampa, the city of Tampa.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know you did that like 5 years ago.
Is that true?
Yes, and then they had a red tide and they blamed it on recreational boaters. It was crazy. Because and then they're like, oh no, we never did that, but yet they put a press release that they had a malfunction in a valve and millions of gallons of raw sewage went into Tampa Bay. And then they had a red tide issue there a few months later, but I don't know. I'm not a biologist, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me just say this. It just occurred to me that people are going to start to think that our show is strictly about poop.
Yeah, let's stop talking about poop. Let's go back to the 4th of July.
But wait a minute, but I got it. But just before we wrap this up, about the poop on the sandbar. Okay. Not that I want every episode to be about poop, because I don't. But
it's starting to be that way.
It's like, seriously, it bothers me knowing that when I go to the sandbar, I'm now walking in poop. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
You're not, though. It's mostly sand. And think about this, like all those little fish.
But still a little bit of poop.
Yes, but all those little fish going around, swimming around there, they're probably going to, once the water comes up and the fish, little tiny minnows and stuff, they'll eat that stuff.
They're going to eat the poop?
Oh, yeah, they'll eat that stuff. Just like when you go to like those special fancy, like bougie skincare places for like pedicures and stuff, you put your feet in a tank with little fish.
What are those types of fish? What is that called?
I don't know.
They have that in like Taiwan or something.
Yeah, like you can do it here even. There's places you can go here.
You can?
Yeah.
I heard that tickles. I don't think I could handle that.
Oh, I'd probably laugh.
I don't know that I
have very
could do
ticklish feet, so.
I just realized, by the way, if anyone's hearing clink, we're trying to get this whole noise thing down too, because I know that, somebody wrote to us and they're like, oh my God, I love the show. It's amazing. Like there was a weird echo or something.
Yeah, we're trying.
And so we're trying to figure that out because we're in, we have this set and we're trying to figure out
also these chairs,
what works. The chairs have a little bit of movement. And I just realized I wear a lot of bracelets and I think like they clink. Can you hear this?
I can hear it.
So I apologize. I just realized maybe I should start stripping down a little bit when I do the show.
That might be fun.
No, I mean stripping down the jewelry. I'm not stripping down in there. I know. No. I will always be dressed. Okay. So the 4th of July. 4th of July weekend. So we actually skipped over the 4th of July though. We didn't really talk about that. No. I'm saying we didn't talk about it here. Yeah. But now we're talking about Sunday. We're talking about Sunday. It was July 6th.
Yes.
So it was July 6th, and it was a beautiful morning. So we go out to the boat. It was great, and I had made all this food. It was amazing. We had such good snacks, and my friend Michelle, she had made some really good food too. Dave, we had Wyatt with us, John, me. We had a great time. It was a really, really fun day. And then it was about 1:45 in the afternoon. And I was like, the skies are looking a little weird. Like something's not right. It was very ominous looking.
We knew that going out there that in the afternoon they were calling for thunderstorms.
Maybe,
right, because the weather changed. If you don't like the weather, wait a minute. But
right, changes.
So it did change and it did storm. It wasn't that bad on the way back though.
Wait a minute.
Got a little wet.
Hold on. Originally, we thought it did say that it was going to be bad weather around 3, or some places it said 5.
Yeah, but the weather people are the only people that can be wrong most of the time and still have a job.
That's true, but
they're never right. If you don't know what the weather is, you want to know what the weather is, just go outside and look at the sky.
Well, so I open up my phone and I read the app and it says severe thunderstorms happening at 1:00. It's 1:45 right now, right? And Michelle and Dave still are not back on the boat. So we're like, oh God, what are we going to do here? And I keep reading it and looking at the radar and I'm like, we are doomed. Now it's 1:00. They get back and Dave's like, so what do you think we should do? And I'm like, well, I think it's going to be pretty bad. He's like, and all these boats are pulling out. Everybody's leaving the sandbar.
Yeah, there was a mass exodus when we left.
And then so all of a sudden we're like, okay, we better go. It starts just to drizzle, no big deal. And then suddenly it was like we were at Gilligan's Island. It was like a torrential downpour, storm, thundering, there's lightning. I was freaking out. I was drenched.
Talking about storms.
Yes.
I was reading over the weekend, there was all the flooding and stuff in Texas.
Yes.
And 50 people died. It's so sad.
Oh my God, that is so scary. And the Camp Mystic. All those kids went missing.
But apparently that happened in the 80s and 90s too, I guess. 80s or 90s.
At the same camp?
Yeah, and it killed a bunch of kids too. Same thing happened. Killed a bunch of kids in the 80s or 90s. I don't know.
Is that real? I didn't
think so. I didn't get time to research it. But the part I was wanting to talk about the storm, besides that, I don't want to talk about how sad it is, and my heart goes out to those families that lost people.
It's so sad.
But
oh my God.
There was a Coast Guard rescue swimmer that is being credited with saving 165 lives.
What?
That dude is a machine.
He's a hero.
I don't know if he did like direct action, like he went out and swam and like drug them all back, or if he like the saying he kind of directed helicopters for rescue and stuff. But he's being credited with saving 165 lives. That's amazing.
Oh my god!
Like 165 lives.
That's incredible. That is so incredible. And thank God for people like that. Like thank God
like,
for heroes like that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that Coast Guard rescue swimmer. Now, he is in the Coast Guard, but I'm not going to dox the Coast Guard right now. But
well, you know, you're a Marine.
I know. So
let's just try to be nice. But I will, you know.
That's awesome. Shout out to that guy.
Do you ever start to think that just Mother Nature is really pissed off? Like,
sometimes I do.
I really feel like Mother Nature is pissed off. I mean, why does this keep happening? There's all of these natural disasters, because that's really what they are. They're natural disasters. I mean, these storms, it's not like they're
but then I think also we as people in our society are starting, because our cities are getting so large and our urban areas are getting so large.
Yeah.
Like we're starting to build in areas that in the past we wouldn't, because we're running out of space.
Right.
And so we're encroaching on some of that stuff. Yeah. Like when you talk about like animal attacks, like alligator attacks. Well, not really alligator attacks. Yeah, well, you can include alligator attacks, bear attacks, all these animal attacks.
I'm very scared of alligators.
Yeah. So like we keep encroaching on their territory. We keep building in these areas where we really shouldn't. Like I know in South Florida, they're building houses in areas the neighborhoods where they used to not really build because it would flood.
But does that affect the weather? How does that affect the weather?
Yeah, but so like think about this, like a lot of those homes and all those people, maybe I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe they're living in areas that they shouldn't have. But I mean, when you're talking about weather, we did have the hurricane that went into North Carolina and completely devastated them like a year ago.
That's what I'm saying. Mother Nature is angry with us. We're getting hurricanes, monsoons. What are those things called? What are the big things called?
But in history, all throughout history, there's been like cataclysmic events and all these all this crazy.
There's a lot more now. I feel now like.
But it's
typhoon. Is it typhoon? No,
typhoon?
Tsunami.
Tsunamis, yes.
That's the big one.
But like, I don't know. Like, there's people there's the rabbit hole of weather modification and stuff like that. Like, they know they can modify the weather and make it rain in certain areas. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they had a guy on that is a CEO of a company that's what they do, and he's talking about how they can modify for areas that are in drought to help with crop production. Or he was more specifically talking about out west, the aquifer out west for like Nevada, California, Utah, like all those western states out there.
Yeah,
that their aquifer which is their groundwater, is going to run out in the next 50 years.
Yeah.
So like they're talking about that, and so that they could actually modify the weather out there and make it rain more out there. And
that's weird.
And so then to replenish that aquifer, like Lake Mead keeps going down outside of Las Vegas. It's like at record drought levels out there and record low levels. Like it's almost empty.
Geez, John, I don't know if you're looking for another job, you should become like a weatherman or something. This is kind of weird that you know all this stuff, but I'm impressed. I like it. That's good. I don't know any of this stuff. I like it.
But anyways, so I was listening to the podcast and they're talking about how they could help that.
Yeah.
Seeding the clouds and making it rain.
Weird.
But then the other side of it is, if you're taking that moisture from there, you might be taking it from someplace else.
Look, I'm still going to stick to my guns that I think Mother Nature is really upset and really mad at us, and sometimes just decides to like throw a bone in the mix and like destroy us. I mean, really, it's crazy. She's pissed. But what were we talking about? The hamster never stops. My God, here we go. Let's back up. Let's reverse. So we did make it back. We survived.
Yeah, we survived on Sunday.
I was drenched. Like it was. I did not think we were going to make it, but we made it. We survived.
Yeah, and the rain was coming down, and like I didn't have a shirt on, and it felt like I was getting hit with little BBs. That's how hard it was.
It was so hard.
And the boat wasn't going fast, and it was super windy. Like there was a time where I thought
choppy as all get up
water spout or something like that.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah. It was crazy, but it was really fun. So anyway, great day. All right, so let's go in reverse. Let's go in reverse. So that was Sunday. So Saturday was a really fun day. We went dancing. We went to an 80s, 90s party at Fraser Creek. Do you know something about Fraser Creek?
What about Fraser Creek?
That is the first distillery, winery, cidery, brewery, first and only of all those things I just said. What did I say? Distillery, winery, brewery, cidery in the Treasure Coast. First and only. Fraser Creek Brewery.
I'm going to call BS on that one.
I'm telling you it's true.
Because what about Sailfish Brewery up in Fort Pierce?
Apparently, this is the first and only of all of the. It's distillery,
so brewery,
winery, cidery, brewery.
Okay.
It's all.
So I guess if you do enough of
one.
this stuff and you make the list long enough, you could consider yourself the first one. Sorry, Fraser Creek. I'm not trying to like run you over.
Fraser Creek is awesome.
They're a great place.
They
awesome
are
place. They have some great events.
Oh my God, their events are fantastic.
I don't know how their spirits or all the stuff that they brew is there because I don't drink, so I don't try that stuff. Oops, I just hit my microphone. Sorry if I messed up the audio there. But I don't drink or anything like that. So, well, not anymore. Very little. And so, like, I haven't tried any of their drinks, so I don't know if their drinks are good or not.
Yeah.
But it's a great place to go. They always have some great events and great
venue. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
So make sure you tag them in this.
So yeah, we'll have to tag them. So the other night there was an 80s and 90s party. The music was phenomenal. The DJ killed it.
I think the first hour the music was a little iffy because there was a lot, maybe because of my age.
You're too young.
Maybe, but like after about the first hour,
you don't appreciate the 80s. As much as I appreciate the 80s.
I appreciate the late 80s, not the early 80s.
You appreciated the 90s hip hop.
Oh, I love
and rap. That was that was like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like the first, it's like you went in order. Like he played, like the first hour was like earlier 80s.
Yeah.
And then the second hour was in like third hour were like late 80s and into the 90s, which I appreciated that more. Yeah. Like when we left, I think that's when the music was really getting good.
It was really, really fun. I had a great time. So we can't wait to get back to it. So, and then let's rewind again to July 4th, which is the day that
my favorite bands.
Yep, they were good. Spectora, they were another 80s band. But
that makes sure we tag them too.
Hold on a quick second. Awesome. Hold on. What? Before we even talk about the evening, let's talk about the annual Nathan's Hot Dog eating competition.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yes, there's a Nathan's Hot Dog eating contest that they have every single year on the 4th of July.
Mr. Chestnut won it again.
Joey Chestnut won it again for the 17th time. Now, he didn't do it last year. Last year, he skipped the year, so there was a different winner. But this year, and it was, I think it was a branding thing, like a marketing thing. He was endorsing maybe like a vegan hot dog or wiener or something or other, so he couldn't do it.
The dude put down 70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes, which isn't even his record.
Are you sure it was 10 minutes?
Yes, that's the competition.
It's 10 minutes?
It's 10 minutes, yep.
Yes,
70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes, which isn't his record. I think he's gotten close to 80 before.
76, and that was back in 2021.
Okay.
Yes, 76 hot dogs back in 2021.
That's crazy. And then the woman that won, she did 30, I think?
Roughly? She did 33.
And I can't remember her name.
Mickey Soto.
Okay, good job.
Yes, Mickey Soto.
And I looked it up. But
it was her 11th time winning that. But now, 11th time. But let's get back to Joey Chestnut, because he really is, I mean.
I like that name, Chestnut.
Listen, I like the name too, Chestnut. In fact, I used to live on Chestnut Lane when I lived in Woodbridge, Connecticut, 24 Chestnut Lane. Okay. Anyway, and I remember there was a thing when I was a kid. It was like, to get like your porn star name, you would use like the street that you grew up on, and then it was something was first. What was first? Was it like your pet's name or something? Your dog's
pet's name and
then the street that you lived on.
Something like that. There's all kind of weird analogies.
Yeah, there was like a weird thing. Anyway, so I loved that. Like my thing was like Chestnut. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I have the perfect porn name. Anyway,
mine would have been awful. It would have been like Fido Shore.
Fido Shore. That's actually a really strong porno name. I kind of like it. I like it.
What do you guys think?
What were your porn names?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, we could look that up. But getting back to the hot dog eating competition, I don't know about you guys, but I find it so hard to watch. It was so disgusting. Like you almost gagged just watching them.
You dip it in the water and then you deep throat it.
Well, it's like the bun. That's what you're doing with the bun. You're dipping the bun. Like you're not eating the hot dog in the bun like a normal person would eat the hot dog in the bun.
No, they like dip it in the water, and so it's like this slurry mess, and then they just shove it down their throat.
No, John. No. They don't do that. They separate the bun from the hot dog. Okay. So it's not together. They're not dipping the hot dog in the bun into the water. They're separate. They take the bun. Yes, I'm positive.
I've seen it, they dip the whole thing in there and they just shove the whole thing in their mouth and like
they do not. No, they take the bun. Mm-hmm. They dip it in water. They usually are double fisting hot dogs, 2 hot dogs at a time, and they're shoving them down their throat, and then they're eating the bun because you have to eat the whole thing.
Okay.
You can't just eat the buns or the hot dogs. You have to have the whole thing. Right. So they separate it. They take multiple hot dogs at the same time. Then they take the buns and they dip it in water and they take multiple of those and they're shoving it in their mouths and they're like, it looks so disgusting. If you have not seen this, I don't know. I recommend watching it for 3 seconds before you gag. But it is gross.
I wonder if they have a gag reflex.
I don't even know.
Because like you're just like shoving food and then like
How long do you have to keep it down before you throw up in order to still win?
70, like shoot. Like that dude's stomach probably goes from like this big to like a pot belly. And then where does he put it?
I don't know. And I'm an eater, and I don't even know that I could get to 10.
What's like that show? What was it? Man versus Food?
Man versus Food.
Like that dude could eat. I can't remember his name, but I can see his face. Was it?
Adam. What was his last name? He got sick though. And I remember at the time.
He used to go to the gym and work out seriously and then not eat for a couple of days before he filmed the show because he ate so much food.
At the time, somebody once said to me, would you ever consider, because then they had like a challenge and they asked me to go on the show. Like somebody approached me about it. And it became like, he would go to these competitions and like go up against somebody or whatever it was. I was like, I don't know. But
you probably would have won.
These eating competitions though scare me depending on like what it is. You know what I mean? Like this hot dog thing, that's crazy. Like if it's untimed.
I would much rather participate in the key lime pie eating contest in Key West that was over the weekend as well.
They had that? I didn't even know they had that. How many pies do you think you could eat?
I don't think they have to eat. I think it's who can eat the pie the fastest. I think is what it is.
See,
I think it's like 20 or 30 seconds. And like you can't use your hands. So like the pie's there and like you see all the people and they just go boop into the pie and start eating.
Oh my God, that is a nightmare for me. First of all, I can't stand
all over your face.
I don't even mind having it all over my face, but I can't stand things getting in my eyes and in my eyelashes. Yeah. Like these are my real eyelashes and they are long AF. Like I have very, very long eyelashes. And so that like when you get stuff in your eyelashes, and I hate when I get those little like cotton ball ribbons on my eyelashes. Those are the worst because then they get into my eyes. Oh my God, it's so painful. It's so gross. But the thing, getting back to this whole eating competition, it's not the fact that you have to eat so much because that I'm down with. I'm totally fine with having to eat all that. I can put it away. Yeah. But I don't like the speed of it because I'm a very slow eater. I like to take my time. Yes. I like to enjoy.
Yeah,
I like to
savor. But you out-eat me most of the time. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, well... Not lately. Lately, I've been kind of hungry, but I've been kind of hard in the gym. But like, normally she can out-eat me, and like she's a freaking machine. Like, sometimes I'm like, good Lord, where does she put it?
But I don't speed eat.
No, you eat very slow.
I eat very slow. You eat very fast. I eat very slow. But I like to savor my food. I like to enjoy it. I like to make it last. I enjoy it. I remember my grandfather was like you. My grandfather, Ben Pop, may he rest in peace. Yeah. He used to eat, it was like we'd sit down, like we'd all go out together, and then we'd be like, by the time the last person was served, we'd be like, Pop, did you not get your food? It was already gone. It was like...
That sounds about the way I like to eat.
Like, it was just gone. I'm like, where did it go?
I think it's habit, though, because like it was ingrained in me that like you got to eat fast. Like, we've talked about that anyways.
Yeah.
Why I eat fast.
So, but listen... Did we get through our weekend or what? Oh, well, then we kind of got through the weekend.
There was some other stuff I want to talk about, but maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday.
Oh, wait a minute, though. We did see some fireworks. Did everybody see fireworks? We did see some good fireworks.
We saw some good fireworks, yep.
I got to be honest, though. I am not a firework fan.
Oh, I want to talk about Spectora.
Okay, talk about Spectora.
Spectora is a band that is local here, and they are awesome.
They really are.
They're probably my favorite band in the area. I mean, we planned my birthday party last year around where they were playing.
Yeah.
Because... Well, we decided that they were playing there, so that's where we're going to have my birthday party because they're so awesome. They're like 80s and 90s.
80s, 90s. Like and rock. They threw in a few other things.
They threw in some newer stuff.
They
got
some new stuff.
Some pretty good stuff, but they're awesome.
They're really, really good.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
I love listening to you.
I like Spectora. They're really good. They're good. They play locally.
And then there's Girlfriend Material that's really good around here.
Oh, they're really good too.
They're really good
yeah, but we haven't seen them in a while.
Around here,
no, they're more like down south.
Yeah.
They play more in like Jupiter, West Palm, sometimes Boca.
Yeah.
But they're good. There's a lot of good bands. Listen, we are in a great area. Like one day we'll just do like an episode all about the bands. Yep. Like being in the Treasure Coast, we have an amazing music scene. Like you would think that we were back in like LA or something. That's how talented these people are. Yeah, it is really amazing how great these bands are. And that's why like I love where I live because every night you could go out and hear amazing live music. Yep. And you can dance, and like there's great restaurants and bars. I mean, it's a really great. We're lucky. We're very lucky.
So you talked about doing episodes maybe just about the live bands and stuff like all the great bands and maybe we could rate them or something like that.
Yeah.
But we're also going to do episodes about traveling, right? And some of the places we've been.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we're doing that. We'll let you know when we're doing that.
Those will be additional episodes. They won't be the Monday to Tuesday or Monday to Thursday.
Our problem is the hamster never stops, so we never stop coming up with ideas, and it really like drives us nuts. We're like, oh no, we got to do this.
We got to
do this. We don't have time. And we don't even have time to continue this because you know what it's time for? Stump the Hamster. It's time for Stump the Hamster. Yep. By the way,
you get to go first this week.
I will go first this week.
Or today.
Yes, I will go first today. I will say I want to thank everybody out there. Like everybody apparently really liked to play along, and like people were really stumped by our things, and they loved the questions.
I did meet somebody the other day that knew the answer to my Louis Vuitton question, which I didn't know the answer when I looked it up.
Yeah,
and I was surprised that she knew it. But she said she knew the answer.
Yeah, she knew the answer. That was really awesome. Was that Roberta?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, my mom knew the answer. Roberta, she was, she was a big follower of Louis. My mom had like some original Louis Vuitton things. Like she was great. She it's good. We have some upstairs.
No, wait a minute. What? You just said she has some original Louis Vuitton.
Well, I mean, like from back in the day, like when Louis Vuitton, you could get a bag for $75 or something. Like
you could buy a Louis Vuitton bag for that cheap back in the day.
I'm going back like 50 something years, longer than 50 years ago.
Okay, so then by the time you adjust for inflation, that's like $300, $400 now, right?
No, a Louis Vuitton bag now is $3,000 or $4,000.
The $75 50 years ago, if you adjust for inflation, would be equivalent to like $300 now.
But you don't adjust for inflation. You adjust for it being luxury now and the want and the need. I'm not talking about thing. Like because it's not just you can't get a Louis Vuitton bag for $300 or $400.
I think you're missing what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is 50 years ago it cost you $75 for an up and comer. Like they're just becoming this fish, whatever they are. Today, the same person that's up and coming.
It could have been longer ago than 50 years ago.
The person that's up and coming, you'd have to spend $300 for. Like the $75 back then is now like $300 or whatever it is for.
Oh, potentially, maybe more. It was a little bit more than 75, but I think there was still, or is it Gucci? One of them, she still had like the price tag.
Wow.
And it was like $70. I think it was $75, or was it $750?
Roberta's got a lot of bags.
Was it $75 or $750? No, I think it was $75. We're gonna have to ask her. I don't know. It was either $75 or $750. The point is that you could never buy that now for that. Like right, I don't even know what the cheapest one is now. Maybe I don't know what that. Maybe you can get a tiny one for
I don't know, but thank
you
for a question for later next week, maybe this week for me.
Now everyone's gonna Google it before we go. All right, time for Stump the Hamster. All right, so just keeping to I got to get to. I have my.
Are we doing one question or two questions today?
Where did I put my questions? Hold on a second.
It's your notebook.
Here it is. All right, Stump the Hamster. Okay. Actually, this is fun. Just because we just kind of talked about this, we'll do 2 questions. Just because we just kind of, no, I'll do one, then you'll do one. We'll see if we have time.
Okay.
Just because we just talked about this, and I'm seriously intrigued by all of this. Here is the question for Stump the Hamster this time. Here we go. What year did Nathan's Hot Dogs start the Nathan's Hot Dog eating competition, and how many years has it been running? So for everybody at home,
that's the same question.
That is not true because you have to know math. So what year did Nathan's Hot Dogs start the Nathan's Hot Dog eating competition? And how many years has it been running? So we have a fact and the mathematical question. It is a double question.
Okay.
All right. So think about it. And don't Google it yet. Try to guess. Remember, definitely
look at my watch, timer on my watch, and we're
no, it's okay. Well, it's all right.
Because I have a year in mind.
Okay. Good. All right. Hold on. He has a year in mind. But let me say this. I love that when we heard from a lot of people, you can always email us too at thehamsterneverstops@gmail.com. We love hearing from everybody and we will respond. We love hearing that everybody likes to play along with the questions. They were so happy we gave everyone time to like really think about it. So definitely let us know what you're thinking it is. Again, the year that this is an annual event, right? It's a famous event at Coney Island. What year did Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest start? And how many years has it been going? A little mathematical question for you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. John, what do you think?
So I think Nathan's Hot Dogs has been around since like the 1920s. For some
reason. I didn't ask what time it's been around.
I know, but I'm giving my logic behind my answer. I think they've been around since the 1920s, but I'm not sure. But for some reason, I'm just pulling out a weird error. The year 1973 popped into my head. I don't know why. Where it came from.
So
like when you ask the question, for some reason, I started thinking about Nathan's Hot Dogs, and then I think they're around since the 1920s. But then 1973, for some weird reason, popped into my head, which would be 27 years or 52 years ago.
Okay, so
if I did my math, did I do my math right?
First of all,
yes,
I want to say, oh my God, that is amazing that you said that.
Why?
You're wrong. But
then why is it amazing I said that? Because it just came out like it just like
You're
for some
reason.
Close. 1973 just popped. Oh, I know why it popped in my head. Never mind.
You're very close. The actual answer is 1972. Oh, yes, 1972, and including this year for 2025, it has been 54 years. Since 1972, people are shoving those hot dogs and buns down their gullets.
I wonder what the record is. Does Mr. Chestnut have?
Joey Chestnut has the record.
He has the all-time record?
He has the all-time record of 76 hot dogs. And I think it was like the original record, I want to say was 50. I think it was it 20 or 50? I think it was 50 by a Japanese guy, I think in 2001. I think that was the original. I think so. I could be wrong. I got to look that up again. But I'm pretty sure it was like way, way, way much lower than Joey. Joey Chestnut was like a machine. He came in and like, revamped the whole thing. But that was pretty good. And so, but what I want to know too, and I don't know this, and everyone, you guys can look this up. This is not a question. I'm not stumping the hamster here. Yeah. Does it cost money to enter this competition? Because that costs a lot of money to feed all these people all these hot dogs, right?
Isn't there a cash prize? I think there's a cash prize.
I don't even know. We're going to have to look that up. All right.
Somebody let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. That's your homework, people, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now you stump the hamster.
Okay, so I'm going back to something that's kind of in your wheelhouse a little bit here.
Okay.
Because you're a big LA person. Like you lived in LA the longest of anywhere you've ever lived, right?
Correct.
You love LA.
California,
for the most part.
Yep. Yeah.
So how many shops are on Rodeo Drive?
Oh my!
In the the main 3-block area of Rodeo Drive. Yeah. How many shops are there?
Well, first of all, that has changed a lot. Do you mean like right now, this year?
No, I would say approximately because
it's changed. The real estate on Rodeo changes.
There's no definite answer for the number depending on like the when it is and when it was and stuff like that. But there's an approximate number on average of how many shops are in that 3-block section of Rodeo Drive that is so famous, with all the designer shops and all the fanciness that you see in the movies, like from the movie Pretty Woman, that whole street. Like, how many shops do you think? What is your guess? How many shops are there on average?
First of all, let me say that I'm very familiar with the street.
I know you are.
I am very familiar with shopping on that street.
I know you are. I mean, I brought up your favorite brand of bags last week.
You did. A couple of them.
Yeah. What were your 2 favorite?
Let's see. I mean, there's the big flagship stores, of course. You have your Chanel, you got your Christian Dior, you got your...
How many shops do you think is in that 3-block section on average over throughout history?
It has changed, by the way, because shops do come and go, and the flagships have gotten bigger.
And that's why it was really hard for me to nail down an exact number, and that's why I'm going with an average number.
That is a good one.
Because the shops do change every few years.
Yes. Oh, gosh. How many shops? Are you including any, like, coffee shops or restaurants?
Shops or just shops in general?
Just shops in general. Oh, gosh. That is really tough. I don't know this, to be honest. I really don't know this. I'm going to just throw a number out there. I'm going to just spitball this and say, I'm going to say, this is hard. I'm going to say 33.
33 is her answer.
I'm going to say 33.
Wow. You were about a third of the way there.
How many?
The average shops on Rodeo Drive in the 3-block section is 100.
Really?
Yes, there are 100 shops there, according to the internet, on average throughout history. Now it varies; it goes up and down by 5 or 6 shops. But you know what, though?
Because I'm thinking about the big flagship stores, and those take up almost like half a block.
Yeah, but according to the internet, and the internet doesn't lie.
100?
On average, there's 100 shops there. I'm wondering if they're including that little area where you walk up.
Rodeo?
You walk up the steps.
Yeah, where we saw the $1 million ring.
Yeah. I wonder if that's including that area, if that's including
because in there alone, there's probably like 15.
Yeah, but on average, on Rodeo Drive, in the main 3-block section, is 100 stores on average.
Well, you know what? I guess I'm thinking about the big flagships, right? And they're huge.
Yes.
So, but I guess if you think about the regular...
You're probably missing the little tiny
right, the little closet-sized stores, right? There's probably 10 or 15. Yeah, that could be right. I mean, if you figure that there's 10 or 15 per block on either side... Yeah, that would be 100. I didn't think about that. Yeah. And because there's really only like one stretch that I would shop on.
So what we're hearing is there's only about 30 shops that
I would really shop at.
Yeah, that you would go to on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so oh my gosh, all right.
So I think we're gonna call it there.
Let's call it right there.
We're about 35 minutes.
Yeah, let's do this. That was an amazing Stump the Hamster. Good work. That was a good Stump the Hamster.
It's called Stump the Hamster. I'm not going to give it to you.
I love Stump the Hamster. That is like part of my favorite parts.
A little something.
It was really great. I know. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching us with The Hamster Never Stops. Please, again, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes,
Apple Podcasts,
Amazon, Apple Podcasts, everywhere.
Wherever you get your streaming podcasts, just follow us. because we should be there by, if we're not there today, by Wednesday or Thursday. I know some of the streaming services are a little slow picking us up because this is only the second episode, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. So thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun, and we'll see you on Thursday for the next episode.
Have a great week.
Bye.